Hello folks, it's Aj here, and do a little bit more Railway Empire. Specifically because the New Mexico DLC is released, and I want to see how it looks. So you can access, I'll show you, you can access Mexico off your scenario selection screen. I just scrolling across here, and there it is. So it's set in 1873, and it's called Viva Mexico. After years of political change, riots and wars, Mexico is slowly coming to rest. However, people are suffering more than 50 years ago and have to make up on several decades old failings. Now the decisions which are going to be taken will set the switch in the direction of Mexico's future. The railroad will play an important role on that, just as it happened to our northern neighbours. It's a hard scenario, so let's go and have a look. So stick the AI on very hard, and we'll go ahead and jump in. So we have to be Roger Smythe for this scenario, so that's fine. So let's jump in. I've literally only just added this to the game, so this is all new to me. Just pause it for a second. Let this play through.
People are doing worse than 50 years ago, and we are struggling for political unity and governance ever since. However, I am positive that our current president will soon become reasonable and cede office to me. As soon as my strong hands get grasp of this power, Mexico will shine in new splendor.
Okay, so obviously he wants to become the president.
Opportunity to bring the railroads to Mexico. Now this is over. A railroad from Veracruz to our capital will open the Atlantic gates to our economy. Let's do this.
Okay then, so we start in Veracruz. He mentioned a line to our capital, which I do believe is Mexico City. Well, let's just have a look at the tasks for this scenario. Yes, connect Veracruz to Mexico City by the end of the year and grow Mexico City to 55,000 in terms of population. So let's go ahead and make a start on that. So we'll have go for a large station. And I'm just looking around. Okay, so I want to use platform 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Well, it's a platform 2 because you count from the side of the station what has the terminal building. So it's platform 2, not platform 3. I counted upwards. Okay, so the train's quite rugged, so plan our route quite carefully to make sure we can avoid bridges, tunnels and earthworks as much as we can. There we go, so that's our standard dual track line set up. Get the signals put in place. Along with a supply tower. Okay, so objective 1 is completed. We've connected Mexico City to Veracruz. Another task we need to do is to actually grow Mexico City to, what was it, 55,000 population. So make a start on that. We'll put a 2-platform station at that wheat farm. That will enable us to service both Veracruz to ensure its beer industry is meeting its demand for wheat to enable production. We'll also send a line from the industry into Mexico City itself to ensure Mexico City's make sure their demand is satisfied. Oh, don't want to link it. We want to go into there. That's right. Make sure they have a steady supply of wheat to encourage city growth. Get the tracks in place. Sorry, the signals in place. Supply towers. Does he hit that supply tower? Where did I put the supply tower? Oh no, it's there. Okay, so we'll put one there. Okay, so that's wheat. There's a meat industry in Mexico City, so makes good sense to connect this cattle ranch. Just skirt around that mountain. Now we started with $1.5 million to spend, so this early expansion is fairly quick to get done. Again, want a supply tower. What resource is that? Is that coffee or cocoa? Looks more like coffee to me, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, so Mexico City will now receive cattle, it'll receive wheat, and it will receive beer from Veracruz. We have logs here. Logs, fruit, and wheat here. We have, is that honey? Amber? Find out in a second. So have a look around and see what else we could connect up. We have iron ore here if that's needed. Coffee and milk. What I assume is coffee and milk here. Vegetables. There's cotton there and to the east there if that's needed. Ah, very good, very good. What I'll connect up to next is this logging and fruit industry. I'll use a regular size station, so we capture both on the one station. Save building two separate stations, one for each resource. And he can just share platform 4. Okay, so we need to issue a couple of bonds. So we've used our initial capital. That's all now, that's exhausted, so we'll put a supply tower there. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get some trains started on these newly set up lines. So we need to go from Mexico to Veracruz. We use the, would you pronounce that Farley? Either way. We use him. Have the trains going in reverse starting in Veracruz as well. There's 4. Get some wheat shipped in from Aguilar Manor. 2 should be enough, I believe. And we can do the same into Veracruz. Again, we just have 2 trains for the time being. Let's ensure the cattle are supplied to Keep Mexico City's meat industry in production. And then the logs and the fruit from Fresquet Estate. Just, increase the speed here while we wait for our money to roll in from these initial trains. It's the first time I've ever seen a steam locomotive what's back to back like that. Not sure how common they are. I'm not a big train enthusiast, but I do enjoy this game. So if you are a bit of an enthusiast for trains, you're probably thinking, oh my god, how have you never noticed that before? They're quite common. Maybe they're not. Maybe this was a one-off. I don't know. Okay, so Mexico City is growing. What else do you need? Okay, so it was that resource we saw was coffee, and that's sugar. Okay, so you need coffee and sugar. So I'll wait till I get the money for a normal station size, so we can get the coffee and the milk from a single station. So we'll need 612,000 to link that up, and then we have the sugar here, which I'll just allow to share this line that is transporting in the fruit and logs. So this expansion obviously adds a new map and a new scenario, a couple of new resources, also adds new trains. Aside from that, I'm not sure what else we shall see from this DLC. I'll be honest, I didn't actually read into it, I just saw it was available and bought it blind, because, you know, whoever researches their purchases these days, I suppose. Foolish on my part, but I enjoy the game, so I had no problem paying I think it was £6.99, so just under £7 in my currency. I had no problem paying that amount for the game, for this DLC, because as I said, I do enjoy playing the base game, so I know that I would get at least £7 worth of enjoyment and play time out of it, so it's a fair deal as far as I'm concerned. Let's hook him up. We'll run in parallel a bit before we actually connect him in like that, and then we can have a siding alongside this line to have our trains wait off of the main line while they're being loaded with sugar. Mexico City is still undergoing growth, so things have been good so far. Let's check our research. I'm assuming we've got a new tech tree. So there's the Farley. And we have the Decapod, Dino. That's another new train there, the Sterling. A lot of these techs look the same. Not sure if they're new. That looks new to me. So does the Shea Class C. So we've got a couple of new trains at least. So we will need a switch. That allows the trains to cross over because of the one-way system we have on our lines. So we'll re-establish the rules of the direction, like so. That's all perfectly functional, so now we can start bringing sugar to Mexico City as well. Two trains should be enough. Let's see what we want to unlock first of all with our research. Accelerated maintenance. Increased profits from transportation of mail. I'll go for that one first of all. So we're still growing Mexico City nicely. We need some cloth supplied, but I doubt there's any city in the area that produces cloth or textiles, however you prefer to term it. There isn't. Now, you'll probably notice that I'm not following my usual strategy of rapid expansion at the moment. I may alter that now while we wait for Mexico City to grow. So let's put a train in Oaxaca. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I apologize to any Mexicans or those conversant in the language for my doubtless complete butchering of a town name. So Mexico City has expanded. It's now at 40,000. We need to get to 55. So our passengers are now going to wait a little longer for the trains before they lose interest and seek alternate transport. So almost have the funding available to lay the track down from Veracruz to Oaxaca. And then from Oaxaca we shall head to Tuxtla. And then perhaps up to Campeche. What we could also do is connect Mexico City to San Luis Potosi, and then across to Tampico. Acapulco is an option, but it would be a meet-to-meet connection. We also have Guadalajara. My pronunciation is probably triggering an ungodly amount of people. I can only apologize for that. Maybe I should give some of these cities nicknames. I don't like to do that because I believe that's quite disrespectful. And again, is it more or less disrespectful than completely butchering the pronunciations? I suppose people don't mind butchering the pronunciations of English towns and cities, such as Edinburgh, which is wrong. It's Edinburgh. So, swings and roundabouts, folks. Okay, so we've got our track now to there. I will have to go away and learn the pronunciations for these towns and cities to at least make an effort. In fact, I feel that almost guilty about this. I'm tempted to pause the video and go and research them right now, so the rest of this episode contains the correct pronunciations for these places. Anyway, let's get the trains running between our two cities. Now that we've established their connection. So we need 34,000. That's one. There's two trains. 3 and 4. Okay, so that's line's going to help us bring in a bit of extra money. I think the next thing I may do is perhaps head up to San Luis. J. Cook and Company had to file for bankruptcy in our northern neighbours. Did I never put trains on this? What an idiot. Put the line in, but didn't put any trains on the route. So that's just dead money right there for the past who knows how long. And now we shall go ahead and rectify the mistake now. We'll have 3 trains when we can afford it, because Mexico City will need both the milk and coffee. Is there anything else we can start to supply? Cotton. And vegetables. We have cotton right here, so we'll connect that first. We have a spare platform still, so let's bring in a supply of cotton. The game's decided to put a large bridge in there, which we do not want. That's reduced the price by roughly $100,000, so that's very good. $82,000.
Very well. To help Mexico up to its feet, we will
Just pause it.
resources.
Oops.
But it will not be manageable without international commercial relationships. Our friends in Europe have developed a fine taste for Mexican coffee.
Okay, so we've hit the Mexico target city growth goal.
The coffee arrives in Veracruz. That will ensure gratitude to me from our friends overseas. Their support will finally help me to obtain power here in Mexico.
Fish. It's an interesting one. Okay, so he mentioned bringing coffee into Veracruz. Let's just confirm that task. Yes, deliver 50 loads of coffee to Veracruz. Now, I want to check before I go ahead and progress. If he means coffee as a raw material or coffee as a finished product. And there's no industry that utilizes coffee as a raw material. So one would assume he does mean the raw resource. We have coffee here. First I need to just clear off that line to get it down. And that'll free up our track lane tool for supplying coffee to Veracruz. Get a couple of trains supplying cotton. They are going to make money for us, so it's worth doing. And I've got 2 years. Well, yeah, just over 48 months to ship coffee to Veracruz. Now we have to ask a question: does Veracruz have a demand for coffee? Yes, got an export warehouse. Because I wasn't sure whether it was a hidden grow Veracruz objective right there, and it doesn't appear to be. Let's go ahead and get another station in Veracruz. And get a station at this coffee plantation on the southern coastline, Santiago Preserve. That's absolutely not what we want to have happen. Nor do we want these bridges. Nor that tunnel. Nor that bridge. Still have a bridge somewhere. Okay. It might be better just to come away from this mountain a little. Remove that track marker and put it there instead. Iron out these bridges. Move that track marker and that track marker. Pull our track away a little from that mountain there. Well, more of a hill, I suppose. Large hill than a mountain. Probably reduce the cost of these earthworks of half that. Okay, that took us down to 126,000. That's more manageable. So we'll accumulate the money to pay for this line. Here we go. That's that line now in place. Let's add the second track. 123,000 for the second stretcher track. Mexico City continues to grow. It's obviously going to start. That's obviously going to be helping generate revenue for us. There we go, chaps. That's the second stretcher track in place. We'll need a supply tower, but for now, we'll get the coffee started. I'm going to put the supply tower down once these trains are active and running. That's 3 trains. We'll get one more, and then we'll think about getting a supply tower for the route. Okay guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave, make this a multiple part episode. Got matters to attend to in that place we like to call real life. So, we've managed to...
Hello, my friend.
oh,
As far as I can see, this wannabe dictator really ropes you in.
I shall wrap it up after this little speech.
Than his own power.
Is he our competitor here?
Outrageous. Who
No.
does that gringo think he is? We don't have time for this kind of chit-chat. This is about the well-being of Mexico. Back to work. Excuse me, but I haven't formally introduced myself. Leland Stanford at your service. And unlike our general, I don't hide my intentions.
Ah, I wonder how this is going to play out.
Resources of Mexico and export them to the United States. We're going to make a mint, and the people of Mexico will benefit as foreign capital flows into the country.
Okay.
Let's start this way. Do not deliver this coffee to Veracruz, but instead deliver it to my trading partner on the West Coast. I can even take over a bigger quantity, so more profit for you. The miracle of capitalism, my friend.
Oh.
Bunch of darn exploiters. If we don't watch out, they will infest us like a swarm of locusts. Stick to my plan. Viva Mexico!
How delightfully interesting. That's the new thing, having what I believe it looks like, so what it sounds to be, competing goals. And we shall investigate that further in the next episode. As I said, unfortunately, I do have to just leave this for the moment and go and attend to a couple of matters. I'll try and get the rest of these episodes uploaded later today. But they may have to be post-production voiceovers. Hope that's okay, guys. Regardless, as our first glimpse at the Mexico DLC, and so far I find it quite enjoyable. Interesting to see how it plays out in the rivalry between the two characters there, Stanford and that other fellow whose name eludes me. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, all that remains for me to say is to look after yourselves, chaps, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.